Make no mistake, the greatest reason as to why we will never fix the housing crisis in this country and homelessness in this country is because a shit ton of Americans rely on their houses being an investment vehicle, even the house that they're living in, as a vehicle for wealth accumulation. All right, let's watch this Finland solved homelessness video, and then we're going to move on from Finland solved homelessness to when suspects try to seduce the police, from Dr. Insanity, one of my favorite types of cop watch videos. Let's watch
Crisis in our country has gone from bad to worse.
As the crisis deepens, so has the criminalization of homelessness.
Immediately, my girl Amy's voice I heard, and as soon as I hear Amy, I'm in, this is comfortable territory. Ain't nobody with a reactionary bone in their body is making a video on homelessness, and they're going to feature Amy Goodman.
RV after RV parked here because people have nowhere else to go.
New data shows that homelessness in the United States is at an all-time high.
But there's one country that has redefined how nations can tackle homelessness. Finland is one of the only countries in the world to significantly decrease homelessness. Invisible people traveled to Helsinki to invest.
People going, this is politics. Where is fun? Of course, like my fun shit is still gonna be like somewhat political. I'm watching a cop video too. Shut the fuck up.
I was walking.
You know where the fun is? When we learn about how we can combat homelessness. That's what's fun. Suck my dick.
Areas in the city, if it was America, you would have seen countless homeless people.
With the leaders who made it happen.
The worse the situation is, the more important it is that you at least start a change.
Citizens living in housing first units.
Is your life better now in housing?
I don't wanna lie, it's not.
And everything is better when I live here.
And the staff that supports them.
A person needs a home, so the other stuff can happen.
You can never get so low that we will not be beside you.
Housing First comes from USA.
We changed the systems completely. We went all in with the Housing First.
And same time, this kind of camps disappeared.
In America, people don't want to give housing to homeless people. What would you say to them?
She would say that it saved her life and it will save others' lives too. And so that's why Housing First is so great, because otherwise she might be dead.
How has her life changed in housing?
She doesn't use drugs anymore, and that's quite big. Work.
Oma rytmi.
There's a rhythm in life.
Normaali elämä.
Normal life, which is what she wanted.
What's the favorite part of your apartment?
Sänky. Seuraava on keittiö.
Bed and the kitchen.
What is homelessness like in Finland?
Pahalta.
Very bad.
Pelottaa.
And it was very scary.
Täällä on kylmät talvet.
Winters are cold.
We only care about the homeless if they're vets. No, we don't. No, we don't. That's just a lie. People just say that as a talking point. The extent of Americans' interest in veteran homeless people only goes as far as using them as a talking point against other people that are also unfortunate. We don't give a fuck about the vets, dog. Homeless or with a home, okay? 22 a day. 22 veterans a day commit suicide. 22. We don't give a single shred of a fuck, dude. America's extent of giving a fuck about veterans is basically giving them a fucking 20% discount on Wednesday mornings or some shit, okay? That's it. It's gross. It's like, oh yeah. And also saying, hey, you can skip the line at the airport. Or every now and then somebody being like, oh, thank you for your service. Yeah, America does not give a fuck about the veterans, dog. Oh my God. It's like literally not even a single shred of a fuck.
Pitkiä.
And they are long.
Homeless is hell in Finland because you're real cold, real wet.
Not very nice. But where is it nice?
1990s, we still have 20,000 homeless people. And of course, at some point, there was a real struggle that there were many people sleeping on the street.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. It's just like, it's hard for me not to laugh when this guy is literally saying like, wow, we have such a big problem with homeless people. Like we are so cruel and unusual for 20,000 people to be homeless. There are 60,000 homeless people in Los Angeles. Like right now. Or more, like in just the LA County, I think there's 60,000 homeless people in LA. Oh my God. To be fair, 20,000 for Finnish population, Finland population in the 90s. Let's see. It probably was a big problem. I mean, there's 5 million people in Finland right now. In the 90s, there was still 5 million people in Finland, it seems. Not a lot of population growth for Finland. Homeless population in Los Angeles right now, 75,000 people. 75,518 homeless people in Los Angeles. To Los Angeles's 3.8 million population. 75,000 homeless people right now in Los Angeles to its 3.8 million population. The homeless population in LA is growing faster than the whole population of Finland? Yes. Bro, your brain is turning American. You forgot other countries don't have 360 million population. Bitch, no, it's not. You don't understand how numbers work because of the reason that I just described to you. Even on the per capita argument, LA laps Finland. That's the whole point. I just gave you a per capita argument. I accounted it for the population size. Los Angeles population, 3.8 million. Los Angeles homeless population, 75,000. Finnish population in the 90s, 4.9 million. Finnish population of homeless people in the 90s, 20,000.
Streets and you know, because the winters are really harsh here in Finland, they would also die on the streets. So I think that was a really the wake-up call that we need to do something.
But it's still a pretty significant number.
Then we get the rapid phase when we start the Housing First 2008.
That's when they went all in on Housing First. They renovated almost all of the shelters into Housing First buildings to give homeless people their own individual apartments. They also built more affordable housing across the country, and it seems to have paid off.
In 5 years, we both created the program and halved the long-term homelessness in Finland.
Homelessness in Finland has changed quite dramatically since 2008, for example, in the city of Helsinki, which is the capital city. You will not see tents, sleeping bags, or...
Well, they must have killed them then, right? Because there's no other way to deal with homelessness is by ruthlessly massacring homeless people, right? You put them in a tent city and then you kill them away from the population centers.
Or rough sleepers whatsoever. We want to end homelessness, or we want to end rough sleeping.
In America, when Americans say we plan to eradicate homelessness, they mean we plan to eradicate homeless people by killing them.
I think, you know, some people would have laughed at us that, you know, that's not possible ever, but, you know, I think we have proved them wrong.
We spent days on our own in Helsinki looking for homeless people, and we couldn't find them. It was surreal. So are there really none left?
Wouldn't solving the homeless problem help the rich get more workers? Why do they push against it? What are you talking about? More workers in this circumstance is already no, it's the opposite. Homelessness in the way that it exists is phenomenal for the wealthy. Why? Because one, their police is always going to push them away. And I say this as a person who lives in a wealthy part of Los Angeles, but not like wealthy, you know what I mean? Still a very wealthy part of Los Angeles, but there's still a shit ton of homelessness here. Okay. As you guys know, famously, I had a serial masturbator. He's gone now, but there's plenty of homeless people around. But the threat of homelessness as what will happen if you don't work really hard is one, pretty good for a lot of the capital owners. The other part is that homelessness happens as a consequence of the housing market constantly pushing artificial scarcity despite the demand, right? So for the wealthy, it's infinitely more important to protect their assets and to ensure that their property values continue rising rather than you know, fixing the root cause of the problem, which would greatly hurt the wealthy.
Juha told us this isn't a visible phenomenon, so we needed to go inside to find them.
So welcome to our organization, No Fixed Abode. You enter to our day center Vepa, where people who are sleeping rough, they can come here. And this is kind of living room. We serve every day a warm meal, mainly the peer support and also the professional guidance how to find apartment. The housing first started in our organization and we are still running the first Housing First unit, Sallikoti, here in Finland.
How does this connect with the city services?
Our functions are separated from the city services. We do lots of collaboration with the city. People who are doing the outreach work come here in regular basis.
Is artificially scarcing in housing like impossibly high cost? No, it's just like not building low cost housing, not building social housing, public housing. It's not building housing at all. Or if you do build housing, you just only allow luxury condominiums. Things that would depress, make no mistake, the greatest reason as to why we will never fix, with the way things stand, the housing crisis in this country and homelessness in this country is because a shit ton of Americans, and I'm not talking about like billionaires. I'm talking not even millionaires in certain instances, but a shit ton of Americans rely on their houses being an investment vehicle, rely on even the house that they're living in as a vehicle for wealth accumulation. What do I mean by this? What I mean is a lot of Americans, when they are fortunate enough to be able to purchase a home, they sit on it and the property, and they're used to the property value rising dramatically. Okay? What do they do with that? Well, one, that contributes to their net worth. Two, they can take money against that by putting a mortgage on their houses if they've already paid it out, for example, or a second mortgage, even though they have a first mortgage. You're talking about people's retirement plans. You're talking about the entire, like, we're not talking about just, 1% of the American population. We're talking about close to 60% of the population. That is a ginormous amount. And all those people vote too, by the way. So for that reason, it is incredibly unpopular to push for any kind of measure that would genuinely fuck up the bag for 60% of Americans. To them, I say sucks to suck, by the way. Don't make a mistake here. I personally, as a homeowner myself, don't give a f, because I am not reliant on the property that I currently own increasing in value. I use this as the primary focus, shelter. Okay? So for me, it doesn't matter if the price of this house goes down or up. I'm using it for shelter. That's the purpose of it. 60% of Americans own a home. Yeah, home ownership rates in the United States of America, I think, are like 60%, something like that. I think it might even be 66%. Let me look at it real quick. Home ownership rates in the U.S. Yeah, 65.7%. Homeownership rate in the United States rose slightly in 2022, reaching the highest figure since 2011. However, in 2023, the proportion of households occupied by owners declined to 65.7%. What do they mean by ownership? I think a lot of you as younger people in this chat don't realize that, like, there was a time and place when a lot of Americans owned their own home. It was the part of the American dream. Okay, but you're sort of missing the point. You're also not relying on your home to provide for your retirement because you're wealthy. This all goes back to the decimation of the pensions, yes, or not inadequate Social Security, as well as the decimation of pensions. So a lot of people own homes, and every single person, pretty much I am unique in the sense that for me, this house is not my retirement plan. And this house and its value, its property value increasing is not a factor of consideration for like my net worth. I don't care. However, for almost every single person in the 65.7% bracket, their houses are their primary value provider, their primary source of accumulating wealth. This is perhaps the single greatest hurdle in combating the homelessness crisis that we are facing. This is why there needs to be a relatively authoritarian measure that is not even so authoritarian after all, as a matter of fact. Like in California or in many other parts of the country, we pass anti-homelessness initiatives by incredibly popular, incredibly wide margins. California has a bill, a ballot measure almost every election where they're like, we are going to increase property values taxes by, I don't know, 25% if they're over $5 million. And that gets fucking passed with tremendous support. And then we collect the money to the tune of billions of dollars, mind you. And then nothing ever happens. The real reason why nothing ever happens is because, although people voted for it, the calculation that the Democrats make in places like California is that they do not want to upset the massive amount of homeowners in the country, in the state. I want to see what the home ownership rate in California is. I wonder if we have that. I wonder what it would look like. See, yeah, look. California has declined from around 50% in 2000 to around 44% in 2021, with younger Californians aged 35 to 45 experiencing the steepest decrease. So that's like 50% of Californians, 44% of Californians that'll be like, what the fuck? My housing values went down. Sure, there's no more homeless people in the streets, but my home value went down. And that's my entire life savings. We're talking about an entire century almost of the American dream being propped up, and with people legitimately purchasing homes at a time when they could. So yeah, I don't see the problem. Just save up and budget and buy your own house after saving for a couple years. Chatters all just need the latest smartphone and Starbucks every day. Okay, shut the fuck up. That person is memeing. Please don't yell at this guy. He's memeing in the dumbest way possible. Jesus Christ. Yeah, dude, just cut back on the jalapeno poppers or the avocado toast, depending on where you're living, and you'll be able to buy a house in no time. Oh, stop spamming the climate defiance Joe Manchin video. I'm not going to watch it today. But that is just plain stupid investment. If you invest in housing in an artificially inflated market, it doesn't matter. It is the democratic process in some ways that holds it up. Because guess what, dude? Out of the 44%, you bet your fucking ass almost every single person in that 44% is voting. They make up an overwhelming population of voters. That's why they don't do it. Although they should. I think they shouldn't hold public town halls and have every reactionary NIMBY come and yell at them. I think they should actually follow on the democratic process and follow through with the promises that they made that the voters voted for. I never got why you chose LA. Aren't there better spots, cost and weather-wise? First of all, the cost is not obviously significant for me. And secondly, I like living in Los Angeles. I've lived here for 10 years. I'm comfortable living here. I'm comfortable living in the area that I live in. This is what I know. This is what I love. That's it. And the weather is definitely the best. There is objectively no other area that you can live in that has better weather, in my opinion. It is currently 61 degrees and actually sunny as shit. Why exactly does it make the value go down? Well, it doesn't make the value go down. It makes the value stay the same. Because if there's more supply on housing, then all of a sudden, the house that you have is not going to always increase in value. There's a finite amount of land, but God forbid if we were to use that land for anything but single family homes, by the way, which is another zoning regulation that I hate to admit the Yimbys are correct on. And it's not just about building homeless shelters. I'm talking about like, there are a million different reasons as to why people abhor the concept of more housing being built. One, construction in your backyard. That's going to lead to complications. Construction can take a very long time. Two, if you build affordable housing, all of a sudden, your housing value will also go down because, well, there's an apartment right next to your single family home. People that buy single family homes do not want to live around apartments. I do not have such fears or opinions. I do live in a mixed zone regardless. West Hollywood is not only single family homes, contrary to popular opinion. Then subsidize? No, pay the NIMBYs, as annoying as they are. I think that would also be ridiculous. You're talking about fucking 50% of the population, brother or sister or MB. So how do we get people to stop caring about their property value? You don't. You just do it. They voted for it. It's democracy. Sucks to fucking suck. But that would require bravery. That would require leadership. That would require moral courage, which is something that our politicians lack. They're also obviously vested, interested parties themselves. Many of our politicians also own properties. Many of our politicians are also landlords. Many of our politicians are also friends with people who own a shit ton of properties. I don't understand why Americans prefer a huge homeless population in their city centers over a few more taxis and shelter spaces. I'm describing to you why it's not a preference. It's not a matter of preference at all.
And we
It's
share
pure
information
class interest.
and kind of like what is going on with people who are sleeping rough.
Onko kaikki ihan ok? Ei mitään hätää, ei tarvitse meidän takia nousta. Hello, I'm doing street work in streets of Helsinki. I want to invite you to see outreach work. So people who are walking their dogs and walking around, if they find tents, they maybe make a call. Sometimes we find a new one, get informed for a new place. Yeah, it's really under a bridge. Of course, it's so different before 2010 because there was so much people rough sleeping in this kind of tent camps. 2010 and 2013 have built many new places, and same time this kind of camps disappeared.
Housing First is an idea where people have their own rental contracts and own homes, and they also get support in the housing. Earlier it was like that you had to kind of like earn to get a house, you had to like rehabilitate from abuse problems and things like that.
But the Finnish people let one important truth guide their policy.
It's kind of impossible to rehabilitate from the streets, so a person needs a home. So the other stuff can happen after that. Everyone needs a home. We try to make sure that
It makes too much sense, I think.
everyone gets that opportunity.
And that sounds incredible, but we wondered, how can Finland possibly keep up with the demand? Aren't more people falling into homelessness every day there, too? So we asked Finland's former housing minister, who spearheaded the entire project.
The housing market do not work perfectly. We need also to regulate part of the markets, not the whole, not at all. And the way we have done it has been in Helsinki, that we have built affordable housing where both the federal state and the city subsidizes this construction actually quite a lot.
So this is one of our buildings constructed by Y Foundation, Y-säätiö. It's meant for people with low income. We have built this one actually together with the living.
Yeah, this guy's a liberal, by the way. Part of the business lobby is so funny to think that, like, you can have a neoliberal. Yeah, John Vapavuri is a neolib, but at least the homelessness program worked well under him. Not a woke person at all. Yeah, because he wants to solve it. There's no other way to fucking solve it, dog. That's it.
Music association, which means that there is certain parts.
Part of the reason why it's easier, I guess, in a country like, in a place like Helsinki, in a country like Finland, to be able to solve this problem is because their outlook on housing is not the same as the United States of America. I need you to understand. The calculation that American homeowners make is that this is their primary way of having like a nest egg in some instances. If you don't view housing as a investment vehicle and as your primary source, don't say Finland has a population of 6 million. Please stop. It doesn't matter. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, listen. Even on a per capita front, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Compare it to Los Angeles like I did earlier, and you will realize that there's a massive problem in LA. And Los Angeles has a smaller population than the entire country of Finland. Economies scale. The major factor at play here is that when you have a government that has social safety nets, better social safety nets, there is more social cohesion, there is more interest in dealing with these problems, because more of the homeowners in Finland do not see their homes as the primary vehicle for wealth accumulation in the same way that Americans do. Capitalism and hyper-capitalist sentiment like that creates an environment where it is a zero-sum game where every single person is out for themselves, where they think like, well, what the fuck? Of course, like my home value is going to go down. I don't want that. That's fucking crazy. Like this government did that for me. They decimated my housing value by building more housing. To put it into simpler terms, there are more people who see, and I'm not saying that like people are socialist or anything. I don't think it's a socialist principle to think that like you buy a house so you can live in it, right? I don't think that's socialist at all. I think it's just normal. But in America, we don't think about it like that. You, as renters, think about it like that. But many people who purchase homes, once they have that home and rely on that home value going up, don't think about it like, oh, well, this is my shelter. They think about it as this is my shelter, and perhaps even more importantly, this is my primary source of wealth accumulation. This is my nest egg. This is what is a substitute for my pension. It's so funny to me that you fully understand these things and have hella empathy, but liberals in my city with realistically much less money cannot access reality or empathize with other people, and half of Twitter still thinks you're the enemy. Yes. Because the reason why people think I'm the enemy is because I'm rich. That's it. And it's totally valid for people to think that. I get that. Why wouldn't you? It's normal, and I would even say, dare I say, healthy to be resentful of rich people. Okay? How you make your money is obviously important, and I think that people should probably find better villains. But I get it. People think I say this as a grift. It's a very profitable grift if you think about it exclusively as just myself.
Of the apartments are reserved for low-income rock musicians. There is a rehearsal space for the musicians and those kind of things. So the city of Helsinki has decided that there has to be at least 25% affordable housing.
Let's be real. Most people in your position would do the same damn thing, brother. Yeah, why aren't they then? How many YouTubers and streamers do you know? I mean, streamers are a little different, especially my friends. They're pretty kind people and pretty empathetic. But in the broader scheme of things, how many top Twitch streamers or YouTubers are spending all their time and effort and also a disposable income on fighting for things that they believe in? I don't think that is true at all, as a matter of fact.
So people with different backgrounds, different income levels, they share the same playgrounds and same services. And I'm really proud that the city of Helsinki has decided to do that.
So affordable housing is dedicated to reduce homelessness and give low-income people a chance to get a flat even in the cities. But then that is not the way you can tackle.
Aiden Ross is funding the people's protracted war on the instruments of capital. Yes, this is true, except for Aiden Ross.
Severe homelessness, and there you need different kind of methods. We then had the housing first concept.
We are in a housing unit, Pessi, right now. Our tenants who live in this floor.
These measures are easier in monocultures? No, they're not. Wrong. America is a monoculture. It's just a bad one, okay? People that think that America doesn't have like a single unifying American culture is wrong, okay? We do. It's just a shitty one. The notion that like, I love people being like, well, that's a monoculture. That's why. Okay, why do you have a contract with Night Media, who is owned by Disney? Because I'm secretly in the pocket of woke Disney. That's why. I also am represented by WME, which is far worse than Night Media or Disney. You should hit me on that angle instead. Literally owned by Ari Emanuel, helping the haters. Well, it's because it's idiotic. I also have a contract with Amazon, which is probably one of the worst companies on the planet. Hello? Think about it. Twitch, owned by Amazon. Far worse. Anyway, the monoculture argument is really, really stupid. Why have a contract with them? What do you mean, why have a contract with them? I have a contract with Amazon too, dumbass. You're on a platform that is owned by Jeff Bezos. The answer is within the question. Within the logistics of you being able to ask this question, you will be able to answer the question that you asked. Think about it a little bit further, and you will immediately recognize the answer to the question, why? We know you're a bad dude and we're still supporting because we like the delivery. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. So as far as monoculture goes, America is a monoculture. Okay, you are sitting in a country where white is the monoculture in America. White capitalism is the monoculture in America, and plenty of Hispanic people in this country are also participating in that when they go out and vote for the Republican Party, when they say that they're white. You know what I mean? The reason why I use the Hispanic population specifically is because they were recently brought into the white categorization not that long ago. That's the monoculture. Why can't you just make your own streaming platform then? That's your account. Stop. 12-month subscriber. Yeah, make my own streaming platform that will still have to rely on Amazon Web Services and IVS like Kick that still pays Amazon money. Anyway, so yes, America is a monoculture as well. It's just racially diverse, and I think that's what a lot of people are trying to say when they say monoculture.
They can make food together, and they also take care of the floor cleaning and such kind of things.
Just moved in. They come to my penthouse. That's my koti.
It's his home.
This is my home.
How long was he sleeping rough?
He left his step-parents when he was 15, and he was living in a hallway.
How long has he been in housing?
13 years.
13 years in housing. Is this his longest time in housing?
This 15 years is the longest period ever.
How has his life changed in housing?
No.
His life is more orderly right now because he doesn't use constantly drugs. He's doing substitute treatment for opiates.
How did you survive homelessness, especially in the cold?
He knows how to open doors without a key. He had some kind of like tool, so he knew how to go the hallway.
So he slept in doorways?
Yeah.
In 1985, in the city of Helsinki, there was around 2,000 shelter beds, and now the number is 200. There is still rooms that you share with 2 or 3 different people and so on. If the solution for you is scattered housing or housing first unit.
Yeah, you don't have to choose AWS. You have a plethora of options such as Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud Platform. It's definitely not tech feudalism, as Yanis Varoufakis said. Yup.
You are not waiting in a shelter or on the streets. Then the time that you need to wait that apartment and support to come available, you will have access to temporary accommodation, which means that you have a room of your own and then you share the kitchen and bathroom with someone else.
For a year, I had to go for the night's emergency housing. Then, when I contacted social services on this matter, didn't take long to get here. Own room with the lock.
But even with his own room, he's still considered homeless. He'll stay there until placed in his own apartment with a signed lease. Only then is he no longer homeless. And this process generally seems to take months, not years like in the US.
So even though the social benefit system costs a lot of money, it's still cheaper than having people sleep on the streets in a tent or having to go them through with the shelter and temporary accommodation over and over again and using the extremely expensive emergency services in the health sector or social sector or in the justice department sector. And then of course it's the right thing to do for the people to make sure that everyone has a home of their own.
So even with the low number of shelter beds, there is actually space in shelters to be used as emergency shelter, which makes the outreach team's job a bit easier, less frustrating. This empowers them as boots on the ground to play a larger role in improving the problem as well.
We went out with an outreach team where they talk about areas of housing first that need to be improved.
I'm so mad. Okay, I thought this was fun stuff. It's starting to piss me off. It's just like, we could have this. We could have this in the United States of America. This exists. This exists in other parts of the world. I'm so mad. Finland also is another country where like the education structure is like phenomenal. It's just,
We are doing outreach work, but
they literally have the highest number of cousin fuckers per capita. How are we getting lapped? Oh my God. Well, that's not true. It's Iceland. But God damn it, I'm still mad.
Also, we try to change the system. Yeah, social reporting and this kind of structural social work. When we are writing the social report, we are sending straight to the people who are making decisions. So politicians get our social reporting same time that our boss is getting it. Media is getting same time that our boss is getting it. No one can.
People from Finland, by the way, are either some of the best chatters I have, and there are plenty of them in here right now, or some of the most unimaginably annoying. I'm actually a social democrat, Hasan, but let me tell you, I'm so pro NATO, and also it was normal for us to use the swastika. It was so normal for us to use the swastika in our Air Force. You're so wrong. It predates the Nazis. Also, don't ask us what we're doing in World War II with the Nazis. It's just like, it's either some of the most base motherfuckers or some of the most annoying and nothing in between. It's so fucking annoying. The plane was a gift. You're stupid. No, we can't have this. CEOs and billionaires need to buy their 9th mega yacht. Think of the rich, bro. Don't be so self-centered. Yeah, except like Norway, at least like a decade ago, had more billionaires per capita than the United States of America. So there's that too. So like, they're lapping us on that shit too, baby.
Influence what we are writing in it.
People who have experienced homelessness, they are the best advocacy workers. They are the best to explaining to decision makers, to the politicians, what they should do.
What happens when politicians change and stop supporting housing first?
Basically, we shouldn't need to be worried about the issue, but then again, if you follow the conversation at the moment in the newspapers, it might be a little bit uncertain. But then again, we have I think we have a written commitment from the new government to be in this and take care of the issue. So let's hope that happens also.
I think it was important from the very beginning that the program was actually led by a center-right politician like me. We needed the 10 biggest cities in Finland to be on board. And those 10 cities...
He just says it too. He's like, yeah, he's center-right.
They had different kind of...
Dude, look at this, dude. Look at this. Oh my God, they're pooping on us, dude. Finland is pooping on us again. Like, that is the Democratic Party guy for Finland, okay? Because Democratic Party is a center-right party. Even their center-right guys are like, I can't even imagine, dude. I can't imagine a Democratic Party guy openly pushing for this policy and not immediately getting called like a psychotic socialist who wants to execute billionaires in Times Square or some shit. This is what I mean. This is what I get mad at when we talk about like American politics. People are like, oh, what are their thoughts on trans people? It's like, dude, how do you not see that the conversation surrounding like civil liberties for trans people and whatnot is genuinely considered a distraction to make you feel like you're actually quote unquote woke? It's not real, especially when push comes to shove and you have a Democratic administration. Trans people have seen worse and worse provisions being passed in red states across the board under the Biden regime. Like, the Democrats don't give a about trans people, okay? Just like they openly demonstrated, they don't give a about immigrants until it's just a talking point that they will drop. And on the economic front, we are so far right. The Democratic Party is incredibly far right. You may not see this, but I work in DC for a homelessness nonprofit that practices a housing first model. We do this work in the U.S. now, specifically in the DMV. However, it wasn't adopted on a large scale by the U.S. government, so it's left to nonprofits to do a shitty job with overworked staff and resources that can be raised by MPs themselves.
Political majorities. We explained each and every mayor and a lot of city councillors and so on. It is the interest of everyone that we are able to reduce the homelessness. Explained how it makes cities safer, how it makes cities more pleasant, and that in the long run you even save taxpayers money. So you could say that we had all the main parties in Finland somehow involved.
Jean Vapavuri, the guy in the video, is not center-right. He's full right-wing together in government with fascists. You're being duped by him. This is propaganda, taking credit of leftist ideas while privatizing everything and destroying the social safety nets of Finland. It don't matter, dog. It don't matter. He still did this shit. He passed it. Like, think about that. He passed it. Like, that only further proves the point I'm trying to fucking say, which is that when it comes to economic issues, when it comes to like genuinely pushing provisions, like issues like this, he still, when push came to shove, he still passed this. It's an operation, is it not? The point here isn't to say that this guy is woke by any measure or a good guy or a good politician. The point is to show you how bad things are in America. You started the stream by saying sometimes privatization can even be better until it's the only option, then you're cooked. No, what I was talking about is sometimes when things are privatized first and foremost, while the public funded initiatives are still being crippled personally, right, by right-wing politicians, neoliberals like this dipshit, it can for a brief moment look like it's cleaner or cheaper until it's not. And it very quickly turns into, oh shit, it's not actually. If I were to ask people in the UK, I'm willing to bet that they probably still think a lot of the public transit lines that they utilize are not actually owned by the public any longer, but they probably still think it's a consequence of the UK government and socialism. That's how it works. People literally think that, oh, like it's not working because of the government, lad. It's the socialism. We must privatize it. It's like, well, that they did do that. That's why it's fucked. That's another wonderful little marketing opportunity for neoliberals to make it seem like it's actually all still publicly owned.
From the beginning, which of course then creates a better basis that these programs and these concepts will be respected even in the future.
So what would you tell Americans that don't support housing first? They say, oh, that's...
I have to say the railway privatization failure is actually resulting in the renationalization of some of the lines in the UK. Okay, maybe that's not a good argument because Thatcher is so popular and still on the minds of many people in the UK. So they actively recognize that like conditions worsening are a byproduct of privatization. Starmer second says they will do Thatcherist privatization of council housing. I don't want to talk about the UK. I never want to talk about the UK. It makes me so mad. It makes me more mad than American politics, okay? I don't want to talk about the Labour Party. It is a somber reminder of what they did to our big, beautiful boy Jezza, okay? I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. It makes me so angry. Like they had, imagine if like Bernie Sanders was the leader of the Democratic Party and then they just like, they shanked them like fucking Caesar. And then the guy that they put in that position was like Nancy Pelosi or worse, Joe Manchin. They shanked Bernie and put Joe Manchin as the president, or not even the president, but like the leader of the Democratic Party. Better than Bernie. Corbyn was better than Bernie. If it makes you angry, how do you think it feels being British? Oh no, I'd be red hot every goddamn day because it's like it's the classic question. Is it better to lose something after having it? Or is it better to never have it at all? Because in America, we never have it. We never had it. So like, I don't even know what I would do if I had a moment of solace and a feeling of like, of genuine, of like my nation prospering. Like the last time we had something similar to that was 100 years ago. So it ain't happening.
That's great for them, but we can't do it here.
So we are very small country, and you are the big country, you have a lot of money. So if you want, you can really do that. Make the change. And housing first comes from USA.
He's laughing.
You guys took the idea and ran with it. And we have more resources and obviously more homelessness, but we're not doing it as good as you, and if we did, we would be reducing homelessness.
Yeah, if you want, you can do it.
In the US, housing first is doable. Trying to think about why we want to build affordable housing and how that connects with the housing first. And at the end of the day, if you don't care about people and humanity, then I think most people will care about the finance things. So it's always much cheaper to house people and have them.
This is the other part of it too, but nope. Good luck explaining that, the motherfuckers.
Right support for people than that they are sleeping on the streets, on the tents, going through the shelters, and then this kind of revolving door effect. It's totally doable. There's need to be a lot of courage, to do different kind of decisions regarding affordable housing and housing first, but also different kind of prevention solutions. So when people are struggling with their mortgage or their rents, so that there would be different services to help them so that they don't end up being homeless altogether. So combining those things, prevention, affordable social housing and housing first, miracles can happen.
It's been a great relief. It's been so long since I had a place to go home.
Oh yeah, this is it. Yeah, AB 309, the Social Housing Act, vetoed by the governor.
Is your life better now in housing?
I don't wanna lie, it's not. I should stop doing drugs and get back to work.
When did you start using?
About 6-7 years ago.
How old are you?
22 now. The biggest reason for starting to use intravenous drugs was because my best friend killed himself.
Residents, they have history of years of abuse problems or mental health problems or homelessness. Of course, giving them an apartment, it doesn't fix anything in a months or even years. It takes a long time to learn to trust that okay, this is really my home and it is permanent. I don't have to move out soon.
It's normally when I go to sleep, I just throw the stuff.
Messy apartment is
Yep, there it is. Even in the worst case scenario of a person who hasn't been able to heal, right? Still better.
Better than the streets. It's a place where they can feel safe. It's a place where they have a door they can lock, that they can
When push comes to shove, it's still better to be subscribed at the top of the hour than not. Because at the top of the hour, a 3-minute ad break is coming for you. So you can be out there watching a 3-minute ad break, or you can be someone who's subscribed for $5 or for free. Here's a 3-minute ad break now. Leftist Fascist 69420. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs.
regulate who comes in. They can sleep there in peace.
Anybody that has a very messy room, they also have a very messy mind. And when you lose hope and when you are very depressed, you don't have much energy. And sometimes it's also because you've never learned how to keep a tidy home. Nobody never taught you really.
Big hey.
Maybe you've been in some
gifted.
kind of an institution living your childhood. You've never seen what a home looks like. What do you do at home? How do you clean your kitchen table? How do you clean your toilet? Should you do it every week? Why should you do it? How to do it? So there's many ways we can help. Because if you have been getting these problems for 10 years, how can they be solved in 1 week or 2 weeks? We have to be patient. You can never get so low that we will not be beside you. We will walk with you.
The problems
That's
of
awesome.
housing first do not overshadow its impact. This young man is no longer homeless, and this young man is going into treatment.
Everybody's talking about housing first. Yeah. It's important, but it's more than housing first. It is. It is.
It's also support
Yes, housing first is the first step. This is important to also recognize
that
and
comes
understand.
together with housing. So we don't leave a person.
Guys, you're watching social workers, by the way. Like, of course, they're going to be more empathetic. They are professionally passionate and empathetic people. That's like someone in the chat said, like, wow, these people have more empathy for this person than my parents did for me. And it's like, yeah, these are the types of people that we should be funding and creating more of.
Alone with apartment.
And their definition of support is impressive. Every building we visited had jobs and activities for its residents. We're talking recording studios, gardens, gyms, outdoor fireplaces, Finnish saunas. It's clear they're thinking less about housing numbers and more about improving the lives of each individual person living there.
We have to understand that housing first is not housing only.
Sauna is a huge deal for Finnish people.
If I have
it's like constitutionally enshrined. Finnish sauna is a human right.
problem, here is stuff and I can call them. Hey, I have little not good feelings. They help me. If I have something paper, what I don't understand, I can go there and say, hey, I don't know what I do in this. They help me. We have work here 4 days in the week, Monday or Thursday, 4 hours. We give little money.
So how long have you lived here?
Almost 2 years. Almost 2 years.
You like it?
Yeah, it's very, very, very good. If I not live here, I drink more and more. And everything is better
sauna
when I live here.
People saying a lot.
Yeah, I already know people are going to be like, this is nice in the college dorms in the US, as if it's a bad thing. Like, yes, they are. Maybe we should reassess our housing situation here and not the other way around. Yeah, same goes for Norwegian prisons, right? Like, every single time we look at a Norwegian prison video, motherfuckers will be like, damn, I'm about to do a crime in Norway. Isn't this like literally getting people to do more crimes in Norway? And it's like, no, dog. No, it's not. Okay, as demonstrably not. There's empirical evidence to suggest that it does not. Okay, it does the exact opposite. Actually, it causes people to reorient to becoming productive members of society rather than increase the recidivism rate. It's crazy, but I don't know. It's just like Americans are so cooked, dude. We are so cooked. We literally are like, we look at living conditions for prisoners in Norway and go, damn, that should be worse. Instead of looking at our normal living conditions outside of prison, outside of prison in the United States and go, damn, we should fix that.
They used to drink because there's nothing. They were alone. They don't have really nothing to do. And when they're here, the community is helping and they have this little work here and of course the staff who can support them to be sober.
So she was using drugs when she was homeless?
Joo, niin oli.
She was like so scared she had to be under intoxication in order to cope with that situation. So that's why she used drugs and that's why she doesn't use them anymore.
Tänne kun mä muutin,
She needed no treatment because when she got her own home and own key and then she started working here, it changed her life and she said that she just left the drugs after that by her own will.
What kind of drugs?
Kaikkea.
Everything. That's her answer.
So he did it all.
See this? That is a housing first building. Almost 100 formerly homeless people because it's not a shelter. Many of them are still substance users, but they're using inside. And families are walking by, children playing, safe, smiling. That's how you end homelessness.
We're in downtown Helsinki, area called Töölö, which is a quite wealthy neighborhood. Ruusulankatu housing unit is 10 years old. The people who work in that housing unit are doing a lot of work regarding that issue, the NIMBY effect. Then we also have our own specialist worker. She organizes meetings with the tenants and with the neighbors.
It is better to place these units downtown and in those places where you have a lot of people instead of those places where you have less of them. Because in downtown Helsinki, downtown cities, people are used to all kind of people. And actually, you don't notice these units as easily as you certainly do in other neighborhoods. But from the very beginning, we also understood that we treated...
Yeah, I'm red with anger. Not a single Costco in sight. Not a single Applebee's. Where are the jalapeno poppers? I don't understand. I'm so mad. That is perhaps too high a price to pay.
These people as human beings, not as homelessness people.
You lose hope when you
Perhaps.
are on the street, and it means that you die sooner. That's just a fact. It's quite hard to survive on the street for decades. And so if you get a home, you get hope, and you start taking care of your life, so you can become part of the society again. Because when you are homeless, it feels like it that you are not part of the society anymore, that you are invisible and you are like an outcast.
10 vuotta
I
oli
lived 10 years on the street.
se oli pohjasakkaa.
Really upsetting, and I felt that I was like on the bottom of society. It's a priority that if you have a place to be, like even a place to stay, or if you have an apartment, it's like you are human. Without that, you are not.
Okay, so yeah, I wouldn't call this a house full of drug addicts. I would call this a house full of people who have problems with substance abusing. I believe that no one should be on the streets. Like it's not good for anyone, it's not good for them, and it's not good for the society. Like who benefits from that?
And we used to think that those people need to get rid of alcohol in order to be able to live in a flat.
In that time, they went long rehabs, and after that, when they collapsed, they lost their homes, and that's not very good.
Where the fuck are their cars? Do these freaks not have transportation? Yeah, dude, it's really fucked up. I've been kind of scared about that too. I've yet to see a single F-350 King Rancher collaborative edition. I don't understand what's going on. Where are the truck nuts? I think they might all be gay. They're all biking around, which of course notoriously is only a homosexual activity, misconduct. I don't really understand. Where are the massive parking lots? What the fuck's going on?
Thing as we can see it, and that's why we think that Housing First program is the best way to make people believe that they can live with a little of support, not losing their homes if they are using drugs or drinking alcohol or have some other problems in life.
With some people it might be really difficult for helping them in the housing support because they might be extremely violent, and in some cases they have to be just signed out, and then they continue queuing to the next place. And
now that it's been already in
This works because Finland is a homogenous society. People are more empathetic to those who look like themselves. Unfortunately, we suck in America. Yeah, totally, dude. That's why your boss that looks like you is just fucking you over every goddamn day. It has nothing to do with capitalism. Please do not look at the capital. Please do not look at capital owners, you know? You're getting ass fucked by your white boss every goddamn day and thinking that, oh, it's because it's homogenous. Like, no, it's not. It has nothing to do with like a culture being homogenous, okay? Please. You're a 7-month subscriber. I'm going to be as charitable as I physically possibly can to you. I suspect that you do not know what you are saying and do not recognize how fucking insanely racist that shit is. That is just an excuse racist people use to try to fucking instill racist shit.
Work for over 10 years. I think there's a lot of experience already how it's working or what's not working. And mainly it's that we have to talk with the tenants all the time. We have to have meetings and we have to talk with them every day. And when we hear each other, we also have respect for each other and some kind of an appreciation. And that's how we change things that need to be changed.
In America, people don't want to give housing to homeless people. What would you say to them?
She would say that it saved her life and it will save others' lives too. And so that's why Housing First is so great, because otherwise she might be dead.
But you could say that the worse the situation is, the more important it is that you at least start a change reducing the homelessness.
It is a human right. It is a basic right. Everybody should have a home.
I'm sure that everyone can do Housing First. It is actually, you could say that it's human being first. In all democracies all around the world, you see homelessness people in the streets. In Finland, in Helsinki, you see less because of the housing first. This is a safer and more pleasant city, and it's also a better city for visitors, for tourists, and also a better city for example, foreign direct investments, knowing that this is a clean, safe, pleasant, well-organized city. Putting housing first, and that can be scaled, that can be copied anywhere in the world.
I've been in 10 different countries, over 300 cities doing this. When I arrived in Helsinki, it was hard to even put words the feeling because I didn't see a homeless person. In America, we're often selfish.
Wow, this guy built a whole fucking organization to eradicate homelessness, and look at how excited he is that he didn't see a single homeless person. I, for one, am a liberal and woke, and therefore I love when I see homeless people. I love when I see people basically rotting on the side of the fucking street, eating garbage. I'm more morally righteous than him.
People are driven by what's in it for them. I mean, we can't even get affordable health care for everybody. So how are we going to change culture so that we can have affordable housing for everybody? We know how to end homelessness. We've known for a long time. This week, we've been able to see how housing first implemented at scale can solve homelessness. But the question remains, will America...
Phenomenal video. I know we always do like the Austrian shit. We always do Vienna. I'm glad that there's finally another fucking city, Helsinki, that we can use.
Do what we need to do.
It literally always is like either he should just move the Finland amount. Bro, he wants to fix America. That's the whole point. That's why I live here too. That's why I live where I live. Instead of just like running away and leaving. You know what I mean? Do they have freedom though? I think we demonstrated that they definitely do not. Where are the mega churches? Where are the mega parking lot complexes? And where are the Applebee's? Freedom ain't free, brother. Freedom ain't free.
To fix the affordable housing crisis and to start providing homeless people with the housing and the support services they need.
One phenomenal example of like culture being upstream from your material realities and your material conditions, I would say, is talking to a single European about healthcare. Okay? This is seemingly an issue. While this is seemingly an issue held in contention in a place like the United States of America, ask a fucking single European about the healthcare structure and watch them be like, what do you mean? Watch them be like, what the fuck are you talking about?